Hey guys, gals, and NPs, I have a very interesting pedal here today, and that's the Boss Delay Machine DM-101. And what makes it super interesting is it's a stereo analog Bucket Brigade delay. It's true Bucket Brigade device delay. It has 8 Bucket Brigade device chips in it. It sounds absolutely fantastic in both mono and stereo mode. It has a few limitations, but I really like it. I bought this with my own money, and yeah, these are my own opinions, and yeah, I'm just going to outright say it. This is the best analog delay I've ever heard in my life. So yeah, we'll just jump into it. It's not going to be super long of a video. I'm not going to do a deep dive. I'm going to go over the things I really like and some of the things I don't. Yeah, so JX08 going mono in. Here's one of the caveats. This is mono in only and stereo out. It probably would make the pedal a lot more expensive. You already have 8 Bucket Brigade chips. I would guarantee you would need more to have true stereo in. I don't know even how they would handle that. But yeah, so mono in, stereo out. So here we'll use this as the first patch. And I'll use this one later too. And potentially this one. And this one. But let's just go over this and we can hear some of the cool functions in the mono mode. We're going to use classic. In classic, variation changes the waveform of the LFO for modulation. On the far right, you'll have a random LFO. In the middle, you have a sine wave, and the far left, then you have a triangle. But yeah, so let's hear it without any modulation. In classic mode, you have 1.2 seconds of maximum delay time, 1200 milliseconds, and it sounds fantastic. So here, let's turn it on. And we have the delay time all the way up, and obviously it'll become more bandwidth limited as you turn the delay time up. So if you have the full 1.2 seconds in this mode, you won't be able to hear the repeats on here. But if we turn it down, because we're now increasing the clock speed, so we should have more bandwidth in the delay line. And you can hear that self-oscillate, so you have to be careful. But yeah, so yeah, that is the thing with Bucket Brigade devices. The longer the delay time, the less bandwidth you have. And the more noise you have, obviously. But the filtering is pretty good on this. So yeah, let's turn up the delay time again. And let's listen to the awesome modulation. No modulation. We'll keep it in random for right now. Well, we'll go through it. Let's turn it way up. Turn it down so you can hear it even better. So there's your random, sine wave, and triangle. I like the triangle and the random myself, but we'll keep it on random for now. So all the mono modes except for multi-head and I believe non-linear allow you to change the LFO for the modulation, so classic, vintage, and modern. The stereo modes, the variation knob does other things. We'll get into that. But yeah, so that is classic. We'll keep the modulation right around here for now. For the other mono modes I like. Let's try this, I should say, sawtooth wave. Get that magic just fading into the ether style with that. My ocarina patch. Sounds absolutely lovely. As you can hear the repeats die out, you get a nice modulation, and you get a lot of aliasing as the bucket loss takes over. All right, let's go to vintage mode. Vintage mode emulates a DM2, but a DM2 with modulation, which the original DM2 obviously didn't have. So you have modulation now. And you only get the 300 milliseconds like a real DM2. Then you have a modern mode, which gives you 850 milliseconds, about 840, 850, and this gives you much cleaner delay repeats. It deals better with high frequencies too. Kind of going over these pretty quick because this is not where the magic's at anyway. But yeah, I like modern. I love classic and modern, especially with a stereo reverb out on the output of this, which I'll do in a different video, not this one. This is just this pedal alone today. Okay, and then we have the multi-head mode, and multi-head mode emulates a space echo, basically, and the variation knob in this case changes the heads. See how the head combinations are changing up here in the memory? Yeah, so here we'll... Yeah, pretty cool. I kind of like that one too. Also really good with a stereo reverb at the end of that. Then after multi-head we have nonlinear, which is supposed to give a kind of reversing effect, I guess. I don't really hear it, but whatever. Oh, I guess it kind of does. It's almost like a swell, I guess. It almost sounds like a gated reverb. I don't know how to put it. Not really, though. It's kind of cool, though. It's usable. Then we'll go to ambience, which gives you a reverb-esque sound. Especially with the variation down. Then we'll go to reflect, which is the first stereo mode that we're going into. And with reflect, it'll sound just like a spread out... That'll be like your pre-decay or pre-delay. And you should be listening to this in stereo, obviously, because it's stereo, but kind of cool because it's analog. Now, doubling and delay, you get a double tracking effect and a delay. This, I believe, changes your double tracking time. Let's hear. Yeah, double tracking time, overall time. Wide gives you a slight change of the output's relationship with each other for time, like a Haas effect. So. Fully max, you get the widest. Dual mod, you basically change the phase relationship of the output's modulation. So here, minimum, you have no phase change, so it'll be mono. Then when I change the variation, it'll change. Having a phase flipped output on each side is kind of like how the MXR M134 does its stereo mode, and how some what they consider stereo choruses that aren't true stereo do to the sound. Now, pan is absolutely my favorite mode, and pan is a ping pong style. It's a double tap. It's not really ping pong, but it's wonderful. So here, variation changes the relationship between the taps, so I just keep it all the way up. And honestly, that's where the magic is. We'll come back to that. Let's go to pattern. Pattern's also a fun one. Pattern is like the pattern mode on like the DD 500 or so. It's not as advanced in what you can do, but it kind of gives you a pattern, and it's in the stereo spread. That one's very fun. So I like classic, vintage, and modern, and I like pattern and pan. And sometimes I like the dual mod. And the wide can be fun as well. But pan, pattern, classic, and modern are absolutely fantastic. Vintage is great for giving you kind of like a very vintage, obviously, style paddy sound for, like, if you put a pad through it, it sounds really cool. But yeah. So pan, yeah, let's go back here. Let's stay here for a few minutes. We'll turn up the feedback. You have to be careful with the feedback. It'll self-oscillate, obviously, and the feedback is different on each of the delay modes. So it'll self-oscillate quicker on some of the modes than it will otherwise. So just be aware of that when you change modes. Also be aware that when you're changing modes, let's listen to that really quick. See how that took some time? It'll take time because what it's happening internally, it's actually rearranging how the Bucket Brigade chips are fed into each other. And so that takes time and it mutes the signal, and I think it clears it out so you don't have any problems like with weird artifacts or like clicking noises and things like that. I don't know why they do that. I know why it has to rearrange, but they mute it seems, while it happens, and just be aware there's some time. So if you change presets, because this does presets, that there will be time that it takes to do it. So if you're changing it mid-song, this might not be the delay for you, but... All right, so let's just stay high on the time here in pan mode, right around here for the intensity or the repeats, and we'll just keep this here, and we'll keep the variation all the way up. Listen to how wonderfully that fades out. I love it. Now let's hear that with my little sawtooth wave here. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's turn up the intensity a little more right before self-oscillation. All right. Well, actually, we're going to probably self-oscillate there. Oh, maybe not. No, we are. Careful with that. So yeah, it's just so musical in almost every context in the pan mode or the pattern mode and a lot of the other modes. It just, again, that's why this has become my favorite analog delay so far, especially since it has that trick up its sleeve, which is being fully stereo. Well, okay, it's like a ping pong style, and it's real, and it just sounds great. By real, I mean it's Bucket Brigade device. But yeah, let's hear that my ocarina patch here. Listen to the artifacting and the bucket loss that you have while it fades out. Here, I'll stop talking again and just listen to how it fades out. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, let's listen to here. I have some pads on my second bank that I made. Let's listen to some pads. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Let's go to the pattern mode again. We'll do that again. We'll use one of my favorite patterns. I think it's right around here. Yeah, that one's cool. It kind of gives you like a fade across the stereo soundscape. Really nice too. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's go. Let's hear that just in mono. We'll do really close to self oscillation. I think it's around here. We'll have to mess with it. We'll do the random LFO here, and yeah. And we'll do vintage. And I think pads work the best in modern when you're going mono. As you could hear that, just how that faded out. You faded out into clock noise. You faded out into a little bit of bucket loss and things like that. And you faded out with having a lot of modulation there. And I think it sounds wonderful. All right. And let's go back to pan really quick. And let's just try wide again. And how about dual mod again with a pad? All right, well, that's my overview of the DM-101. I'll have this in a lot more videos coming up. I might just have one where I use it with, I don't know, the Cloudburst as a nice, either the Cloudburst or I'll do a combination of having it with the Cloudburst and the Slower by Walrus Audio. This thing sounds absolutely fantastic when you're using any of the modes into a stereo reverb, especially the mono modes into a stereo reverb. But yeah, I think it sounds absolutely fantastic. Again, the best analog delay I've ever owned, and it's just cool. So let's go over some of the things about it that I don't like and the things I do like. Obviously, the sound is fantastic. The fact that it does have stereo out. The things, it comes with a power supply in the box, which is awesome. And it's one of the really nice PSA 120As from Boss, so it's not a cheap power supply. So that's cool. It's a very quiet, very well-built power supply. Then for the things I don't like, the price point is astronomical. It's a $500 delay pedal. So yeah, I mean, yes, it's fully analog, so there is some cost to that. And it is unique. There's really nothing else on the market like it. It has full MIDI capability and things like that. And it rearranges how the Bucket Brigade chips are basically configured. So that's pretty damn unique. The other things about it that I don't like are, besides the cost, it is mono in only. That's kind of crappy. The only other thing that I can really say is the MIDI inputs. It's TRS. So yeah, if you look at it this way, let's look at it. You can probably, I don't know if it's going to focus, but there's TRS MIDI on this. So you'll need adapters. And the other thing that sucks is that is micro USB. This should be USB-C. Come on. This is like, I know this is the form factor of the RE, the 202, but the RE202 came out in the time when USB-C is prevalent. It's not like USB-C is new. It's been around for quite some time. So this thing, especially at the price point, should have USB-C. There's no way around that. It just needs it. Also, I mean, there's so much space on this. I understand that they're reusing the chassis from the RE202, but there's room. You could have adjusted it to have room for full-size mini ports. There's no reason for that. The SP404 Mark II also has TRS micro or 3.5 millimeter jacks for MIDI, and I hate that. But yeah, overall, it's fantastic. Yes, it's expensive, but it has the sound to back it up. So yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have any questions or you wanted to see me demonstrate any more about this pedal, you'll see this in other videos. But yeah, I really, really like it, other than its few little negatives. Anyway, again, thanks for watching.